So if you want to do that, definitely feel free to do that, because it'll help somebody. Even if you don't end up getting like the thumbs up or the comment, you'll know, because that good karma will come back to you. And that may be your dharma. Okay, next is ask a dream for guidance. If anything, this is like, sure, it could be literally what it says. Ask for the answer in a dream. Dreams offer wisdom beyond logic. If you're a very logic-based person, this may be the answer you need. But no, if you're someone who lucidly dreams, you're going to need to let the dream reveal itself to you. If you really want the answer, you can't control it. You have to let it reveal itself. And then you can wake up and go, what the heck did this mean? What does that mean? What is, huh? And you'll start working on that until you become aware of what it means. And then you'll have light bulb moments. And look at that. The elephant removed one more obstacle. But you have to ask for it. You have to be open to it. If you don't ask, Source, the divine, your higher self can't give it to you because you don't want it. Until you ask, you won't be willing to receive it. That is what the power of being in your feminine energy is. That's why they say, ask and you shall receive. But you have to do the first part. You have to ask. What is going on here? What is the way through? What's the answer here? What should I do? What do I need to understand that I don't right now? What am I not seeing? These questions. And you're going to come up with your own. Like, brainstorm it. If you need to write it out and just brainstorm it, do so. However your process is. I have a bit of like a tug of war right now because there's two perspectives. One is like, okay, straight up, you need to be as specific as you possibly can be with this question. Okay, so it's about efficiency in answering. Yes, no, A, B. Being able to whittle it down to two swords. However, as someone who is balanced and is continuing to be a student of what that means, because I have my piece, but believe me, we all go through our storms and we're all learning and gaining parts of ourselves back through those storms. Being balanced in those storms can be challenging and overwhelming at times. Very rarely is it as simple as A or B. The only time that I've encountered in my experience where it's this or that is completely unacceptable. I will not accept that. I completely do not accept that path, which only leaves this path. That's the only time I've encountered that. However, when both of them are unacceptable, you have to co-create another option. And that's where your connection with divine source, your inheritance. This is your life. You get to write it. So they only want to give you two unacceptable options, make another one. I got another short to do there, because that, like, there's just so much passion in that, because it's so true. And I know what it is to be in that position and just be like, what do you mean? Only this or that? They're both, what? It's a trap. That's what it is. It's a trap. It's an illusion. Don't buy into it. You're here. You're alive. That's your inheritance. You could create another path because you're connected to the divine. And if there are cross-watchers watching this right now that are like, oh no, this seems kind of like something, blah, 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 blah. Look, they're on the outside looking in at something that they don't understand and they haven't experienced, and they want to, and they hate you for having experienced it. Hate and love, there's a very fine line. The difference is, and I have said this in the reading before this, and I'll say this now, if you could put down your ego, and I mean go, look, you're being a child, I'm going to consciously own my position, my life, my power, my right to write my story, and go to God, go to Source, ask, what is it like to be on the inside instead of on the outside, always looking in? What is it like to not be filled with anger because others are experiencing things that I would like to, but I don't know how? So I just want to take it from them. I just want to rain on their parade. Ask. Source. Love. And then you'll get to know your karma. You'll get to work through it just like all the rest of us. And then you'll figure out what your dharma is. But you'll be on the inside at least. Next is, opinions are the lowest form of knowledge. Can I say that again? We are all unique. Truly, the only opinion that matters is yours. And you're co-creating with that divine. What does divine communicate with you? Are you moving in alignment? Is your discernment being guided by love, or is it being guided by jealousy, greed, cruelty? That's not alignment. That's not healed. That's not balanced. That's not in. And that is something that you can, when you're reacting, be moving from. And that's why you're shielding for you and for them. If they start reacting, well, your shield is there. Okay. Now, a part of you wants to react, but your shield is there. It's not letting that come back out and like slap their little energetic hand back inside their own shield. It's disagreement on another dimension. It's not a verbal discussion. It's not something where maybe, you're just like really animated as you know things. If you guys are hitting each other, no, you're done. No. This is not a divine relationship. If there is physical violence, this reading is not for you. If there is physical violence, this is not a healthy situation. And if you're watching this right now, this is your invitation to learn what you're supposed to from it, which is what it is to love yourself enough to leave. To say, I deserve more. I deserve better. I deserve to be happy. To be treated with respect because I respect myself. This is an invitation to ask yourself, why am I allowing this to happen to me? By staying. By saying it's okay. Because that's what you're doing when you stay. You say, do it again. Every time you stay. Why are you treating yourself that way? It's not about them now. It's about you. It's about you and what you can learn about yourself here. Are you going to be the elephant that moves through the obstacle to freedom? Because you own exactly how much power you have over that car in that road that just has been taking your wildlife space. I imagine that road was not a good thing. I'm not sure. It's a couple of years since I watched it, but regardless, this individual, in that dynamic, they're invading your private, personal, spiritual, energetic, physical space. Okay? And their opinion is the lowest. Okay? So, if there is discussion, if there is anything like that going on, we're going to just kind of shelve that whole physical thing. Because, yeah, I'm not speaking to that anymore. That is very pointed. And I can speak to that because I've observed it, I've lived it, and I loved myself to not be around it. And I didn't stop loving some of the individuals in that dynamic. But I loved them enough to stand behind my perspective, which is I am going to show you what it is to love myself and hope that it inspires you to love yourself enough, because I'm not going to be around this, and I hope you no longer accept it, because you deserve better. You deserve more. This is speaking about a divine connection. This is speaking about someone that would never lay a hand on you. They would do anything else but. And more than likely, because it's across many different dimensions, these emotions, these thoughts, these feelings manifest in the energetic if these shields are not in place for both of you. You're going to be feeling the bleed over. Your anger will be amplified. So this will keep you guys good. And yeah, they're going to have opinions, and people are going to have opinions. And even here, some of the things that I've said here, it could be the divine's opinion. It could be Gaia's opinion. It could be my opinion. It could be anybody's opinion. It is purely their opinion. You are the most informed of what is going on. Within you, within your situation, you are the only person that has the most information. So what is your opinion? Even with this guidance that comes through in the dream, it's still an opinion. And it can be an opinion that is designed to piss you off. To piss you off enough to see it from a different perspective and have your light bulb moment. This is basically asking the divine, the creator of all that is, this being that we can't even fathom, to sit down with you at a chess table and go, what's my play? I mean, the divine has a good sense of humor, and the divine may teach you in a way that is the only way you would be able to be receptive, with a little bit of sarcastic humor. Maybe make you angry. Or you can wake in a puddle of tears because the answer was just so overwhelmingly beautiful. And maybe that would piss you off because it's such an emotional experience. You're going to want to defend yourself immediately. However this may be for you guys. And I hope that there are synchronicities in everything I just said for some of you, because yes, the divine is actually interacting with you. The divine does love you. The divine does hear you. Even if you don't speak, your heart is heard. Do you think that the divine, can you imagine a mind of that level trying to come down to communicate in English? The challenge in that. This is like, emotions are far more complex than the written word. That would be like watching a movie in an instant and understanding exactly what's wanting to come through, what the message is, what the implication is, knowing what the emphasis is in an instant. That is a little more divine speak. It can also be something, if you're more mathematically minded, that could come through in trying to communicate through shapes, symbols, and then find your purpose. All of this is leading you towards what you desire. What do you want? Why are you in this connection with one another? Because that's where it's leading you, to being healthier, wholer, more healed, having more of you from their backpack in your own, and giving them more of them from your backpack into theirs. And I just really like that metaphor, and I have to give credit to Carolyn Mice and her sacred contracts, because it might be the anatomy of the soul, actually. She's brilliant. Brilliant. A lot of respect for her. So, regardless, this is why you're here. This is why you're together. This is the whole purpose of this connection. They are your greatest teacher, and they will challenge you, and you will challenge them. Having that space where when you do communicate with one another, when you're responding, is the most important part. But that requires you to have patience and to be centered and to be protective of you and them on more than just words and emotions, but the energetic bleed over. Is there anything else that Gaia, the Divine, the Trinity would like to come through for this collective here? Yeah. Okay. Clearly, you guys are in a connection, a divine connection. Oh my gosh, do you know how amazing that is? You're here. How many lifetimes did you guys have to live to get here? Having this challenge is something that you have longed for and been denied in many lifetimes. Instead of approaching this in a perspective of, oh gosh, it's so intense and I'm going to feel things and I don't want to. It's kind of what I'm feeling here. To be willing to see this from that perspective, that you have fought to get here and didn't always succeed in reaching this point with one another. This is the unwrapping of the gift the one another is. Enjoy the ribbon, the sparkles, the color, the pattern of the gift. Enjoy every little bit of discovering and unwrapping who you are. Because this person, your person, is the only one that can give you that perfect, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, we don't have words for this. I came the closest earlier when I talked about how your wound perfectly matches theirs, and thus, perfectly triggers theirs, so that when you heal it, you perfectly heal one another. Every time you do this, the two of you become stronger, more aware, as a couple, as a unit, as a partnership. And that means that you are more yourselves as individuals. It's not a let's bleed over into one another until we can't tell one another apart. No. There's going to be some overlap, yeah. Of course there is. It's pretty intense. But this allows you to heal, to teach, to model, to walk that talk, to inspire others, because they see that happening. And they know it to be real. It's not a myth. It's right there. They could point at you and go, holy shit, you're real. You're authentic. You're genuine, you're humble, you're not, like, you have imperfections. You're like, I could have this too. And then there you go. A desire is born within them. And what does Source do when you ask for something? What does the divine, this being, do? Starts to like present the path, make that way for you to have that you desire. So if you're in this connection, you just being yourselves is so powerful. You don't have to be on a stage. You don't have to have millions of followers. You don't have to do anything but exist together and do this for one another to have a huge impact. So this concept of how you need to be some big mover and groover and shaker, shelve that, because your true power is not in the physical. Your true power is why you need this shield. Because this impacts so many. This connection impacts so many people. Like, celebrate the shit out of this connection. Yeah, you know what? Right now we're both triggered, but you know what? I am so grateful to be in this with you. I am so happy that we're here. I am so humbled that we get to live this. Like, be willing to always find the funny and be willing to go, yeah, you know, this kind of sucks right now, but God, I wouldn't want to be in this with anybody else. I'm so glad I'm experiencing this with you. Because no one else could heal me like this. Because you challenge me perfectly enough for me to be able to go, oh, hey, yeah, I don't like that. Okay, why? All right, and you like think on it a bit, and you transmute it, and suddenly it's no longer a thing. You're free of it. You're freeing one another. That's what you're doing. Like, cue like the confetti and like the New Year's Eve celebration, like sounds and all of that. Like, this is the party that everybody's talking about. Oh, they're celebrating. Yeah, they're celebrating because this is huge in their world. Even if you're not physically in the connection with someone right now, future you is. And future you is like, hey, past me, here's some insight. I'm reaching back through this person, this channel, this individual to give you a heads up. This will make this way more of a party. So how about we do that? I like how, like, future you guys has a little bit of, like, sass. All right, so that is the reading for you guys. I really do. I hope that you guys found what, you know, you were looking for here, that there were some synchronicities, that something clicked for you. And if so, please do like, comment, share, subscribe. Because when you own this, you're claiming it. And when others are able to encounter this, because you've done so, they know they're not alone. It's not about me getting more views. It's about people getting the help that they are seeking, and they're not getting the answer because the divine has to get a little more creative in how to present it for them. Okay, well, they did encounter that reading, so, all right, well, I'll have to do this, and I'll have to do that, and I'll have to do this. And believe me, the divine will do that. The divine is amazingly beyond, like I say. I could say it a million times because it's still true. I don't even, it's pretty much, it's humbling to me because I'm aware that I'm in the muck, because I'm in the emotion, and the divine is just like, let's just move a bajillion chess pieces. Meanwhile, I'm over here just like, I don't know about this queen. I don't know. This kind of cracks me up a little bit sometimes, because in these relationships, we get so hyper focused that we tune everything else out. And that's the hyper focusing on that one queen piece. And believe me, both of you are in that royal aspect. Both of you are queens. In nothing, like, okay, do not go to the gender side of it. Go to the concept of how the queen can move. Mm-hmm. Both of you are capable of that. But one of you in this life agreed to be that. The other agreed to be the king. And the two of you are working together. You both can do both sides, so that's why you can help one another. But you've agreed to one role, predominantly. And it may shift at different times in your life. Similar to how, for a period of time, maybe one of you is working and the other loses their job. And then fast forward 20 years and the other is making bank and the other can just be, a stay-at-home mom, or they can, maybe start a small business from home that they just do because they enjoy it, not because they have to do it to have income to cover the bills. It's a constant dance. It's a constant dance, and life brings you that dance for a reason, because you're learning yourself with the other person. So it's about helping people. It's about them knowing they're not alone. That pain, I think, is a pain that we can all relate to on our journey at some point. And also to receive comfort from your future self, your higher self, from the divine. You are hurt. The divine, the love within me, honors the divine, the love within you. Namaste.